Attention, everybody, you have to get 10 boxes of strawberries today.
Denstall's Fine Candies is buzzing on Valentine's Day as dozens of people look for the perfect sweet treat for that special someone.
This is our 7 pounds of our finest assorted chocolates.
On the surface, the store is filled with rich chocolates, but if you dig a little deeper, you will see there is an even richer history.
We love to make family traditions here at Denstall's. You know, I'll hear from people that are 90 years old talking about back when they were young and they used to get candy from Denstall's way back when. And then I love hearing from the young kids, you know, oh, I love your chocolate bars, I love your chocolate-covered strawberries.
Denstall's Fine Candies was founded in this small 400-square-foot shop in the heart of downtown Memphis in 1902 by Charles Martin Denstall Sr. 5 generations later, Andrew Denstall, Charles's great-great-grandson, has taken on the family business.
I know that when I come into this building every day and make all this candy that has been made by generations of my family, I'm making all of them proud by doing so. It just makes me happy.
More than 100 years later, and things at Denstall's are still done the old-fashioned way. First, each item handmade, then passed over to be packaged and weighed.
We hand make fine chocolates and candies, over 200 different kinds, from brittles to fudge to divinity.
Andrew's mother, Rebecca Denstall, is the 4th generation of candy makers. She says sticking to the basics is key and can't wait for her granddaughters to keep the legacy alive.
In Memphis, Denstall's is a part of many families' traditions, and we treasure being that and helping people continue those traditions into multiple generations.
Thank you. Yep, I'm back.
In Memphis, Dominique Dillon, Fox 13 News.
Fox 13's Lauren Coleman joined a group of women to see for herself just how effective each can be for self-defense.
Alone, walking after dark. One of the times a woman can be caught off guard and attacked. Something like the stun gun can stop a deadly situation.
Pull it back, hold it, release it.
More and more people are turning to guns for protection.
Pull it and hold it.
And self-defense.
Pull it, hold it, release it. We're not living in grandpa and grandma times anymore. We absolutely have to be, not only for ourselves, but for our family, be in a frame of mind to where if something happened, we have the proper training to try to protect ourselves.
Benny Cobb, a former captain with the Shelby County Sheriff's Office, tells me he's seen an increase in the number of women taking his Tennessee handgun carry permit class.
And one of the ways that you do that is you lock the slide back. Women are in some situations considered not to be as strong as men. So we want women to understand that you can defend yourself. Pick the gun up, point it at the target, 2 hands.
69-year-old Cheryl Henderson says she feels comfortable using a gun if she had to.
I shop a lot. I have a catering service. I deliver a lot. I'm out in the street a lot, and often I'm by myself.
But 21-year-old Kenesha Pine isn't as comfortable holding one.
I was nervous. I wasn't comfortable. I did it though, but I was nervous. I was just nervous.
This is why Cobb integrates less than lethal weapon training into some of his handgun carry permit classes. But just how practical are they? I joined the group of women in the class and put a can of pepper spray, stun gun, baton, and Kubaton keychain to the test. First, we tried the stun gun.
Stun. There you go.
This weapon can cost anywhere from $10 to $15. Next was a can of pepper spray. You can buy a small bottle from a retail store for as little as $5.
You absolutely have to spray them in the face. You want to spray them in the eyes, nose, and mouth. It won't work if you're spraying it in their clothes.
You're going to hit anything that's in sight.
Henderson tested the collapsible baton. This metal device can be used as a striking tool.
The one particularly that I like is the wand, because I carry a metal bat, and it's kind of heavy. The wand is light and it's still sturdy. I didn't even know anything about that.
Last was the Kubaton keychain. Almost the size of a pin, this weapon can also be used to strike.
Stop!
Like most gadgets, we discovered these less than lethal weapons do come with limitations. A victim must be close to the attacker for any of the devices to work.
I want a gun because I'm too slow. I can't run from anybody. You know, they may be faster than me, but they won't be faster than a bullet.
Get on target,
So whether a woman chooses to use a gun, their hands, or a less than lethal weapon, Cobb says proper training and self-awareness are key.
So you want to make sure you have a strong sense of situational awareness. Put your phone down.
An early morning at Steve's Tire and Auto.
The calipers will get real rusty.
The car lift rising. And service advisor Brian Murphy is examining this minivan for something he sees often.
How often do you see cars come in that are rusted or corroded?
We typically see probably 1 to 2 a week.
And in all sorts of conditions.
You're saying you've seen cars come in so bad, you're surprised they're actually not falling apart.
Sometimes we're scared to actually lift one up, and when we see it's that bad, it's because you don't know if the lift's going to go through the body of the car.
Tens of thousands of them exist, perhaps, on roads across the nation, according to experts. Vehicles badly rusted or corroded from enduring winters in states known for brutal cold, a collection of mostly Midwest and Northeastern states known as the Salt Belt, where roads are heavily salted to control snow and ice, causing dangerous corrosion.
Any brake lines, any connections, you'll see a lot of these connectors here will rust.
To key parts of the car in what is known as the undercarriage.
And when those cars move from the Salt Belt states to other states that don't use that mixture, like Tennessee, then can cause serious safety issues for those consumers if they're unaware.
Data given to us by Carfax, pulled from more than 120,000 sources, shows 1 out of every 3 cars being sold at Tennessee dealerships as of August come from states in the Salt Belt. In Arkansas, that number drops to 1 in every 4 for sale. In Mississippi, it's 1 in every 5. All mostly from Michigan, New York, Missouri, and Virginia.
What's wrong with the rust on these cars?
We spoke with Carfax spokesman Christopher Basso.
It rusts out some of those key parts of the vehicle, the brakes, the suspension, the exhaust. Dealers and private sellers may or may not be aware.
Reason, he says, for what his company does.
You know, checking the vehicle history through a company like Carfax is so valuable, so you can understand where those vehicles originated from.
At Steve's Tire and Auto,
how can people make sure that they're not falling victim to this? What should people look out for?
An additional mechanic's inspection is recommended in order to catch what you may not see.
I have seen here lately cars that have come in for inspections that customers are potentially going to buy from a dealership or an individual, and they have painted the underlining of it, trying to hide some of that rust.
Due diligence that could save your hard-earned money.
Yeah, bro. So what we got popping right now is we got this Ethiopian Guji.
When you listen to Maurice Henderson talk about coffee.
Coffee was discovered in 850 BC by the Oromo people in Ethiopia.
The passion from which his love and fascination emanates is clear.
Well, we just want to love black people like you love black coffee.
The business is Coffee Black. He spoke to us from inside this temporary shop, the walls dotted with photos, coffee beans in their natural form at various states of the cultivation process.
There's a blackness to coffee that gets ignored and the history that's not seen.
And even the family who owns the farm in Ethiopia where he personally travels to get them.
He and his family are the primary producers for the lot, which is called Green Spring, that we get is from the Guji zone in the south of Ethiopia in a place called Oromia.
And it is that blend of coffee from the Guji zone, packaged as Guji Main, that is part of what forwards what he calls putting the black back into coffee.
And I remember To Pimp a Butterfly dropped for Kendrick Lamar, and I invited all the homies over. I was like, I'm gonna make y'all these pour overs. We're gonna listen to Pimp a Butterfly on vinyl and just create what I wish a coffee shop was like. And so for me, also literally the name Coffee Black lets you know that the coffee is not just like in the color is black, but from its origin is black.
It is that single word that drives each of the tenets of the business.
Why is this something you're so passionate about?
When I started getting into coffee, I realized there's so much money in history here, and our people are not benefiting from it at all. And that many times throughout history and presently, either when we look at slavery and colonialism, or we look at gentrification through coffee shops coming into neighborhoods, we're actually suffering from this thing.
The specific reason Henderson says that he chose the location where the coffee shop sits, albeit on a temporary basis here in Binghamton, Renovation is underway at a building nearby, the execution of what he calls a different future.
We were able to make an all-black supply chain from the producer to the exporter to the quality control to the African-American importers. I think that's the goal for the future, is to establish these all-black supply chains with different coffee-growing communities across the diaspora. So if we build our coffee shop first, this is our neighborhood, we live here, then maybe it could be not a tool for displacement, but it could be a tool for empowerment, a tool for culture making and education and safe spaces, kind of like a barber shop mixed up with a coffee shop, mixed up with a studio where people can come and create.
When we're talking about putting money back into the global black community, how does that manifest itself? What does that sound like?
Black people make less than 5% globally of the money that's built off of the fruit from our land and the people who are taken from it. The second most drank liquid on the planet after water, and the second most traded good from third world countries after oil. Like, this thing is huge, $200 billion a year. If we connected and brought our creativity to this industry, one, we could benefit, and two, we could benefit so many people who look like us.
When you make the money here, how are you putting that back toward the black community?
But when you purchase a coffee, you're supporting over 40 different small black businesses globally. We do $1 from every bag of Gucci Mane goes back to support young black coffee creatives at origin in Ethiopia. So we donate $1 back to schools at the area to be able to pay for school supplies and things like that, so that they can learn more and be able to get into the business. And then another $1 goes back to support coffee training for young black creatives in the hood in Memphis. And so that's our mentorship program, our internship program that we just launched. And the goal is to allow those people then, once they finish, to graduate from the program with a certificate and be able to apply to work at different coffee shops around the city.
For Black History Month in Memphis, Dakari Turner, Fox 13 News.
Would this $200 backpack save your child's life? I put it to the test with Chip Holland at Gun Range USA in Memphis.
You hate to think you got to protect your kids while they're at school. It gives you a barrier to your most important parts.
Holland frequently conducts active shooter training. He's aware of all that can go wrong.
If this is something that would help someone to get away, if the backpack is taking the rounds and the person is not, so it could give you that moment to escape.
We stuffed the backpack with books and notepads, the way most would be carried around. Then we strapped it to the back of a dummy. Let's do this.
All right.
Our weapon, what's become the choice of mass shooters, a 9mm handgun.
You ready?
Yes, sir. What are you expecting?
Expecting as many books in there, probably the books are going to do a lot. And that's where your 3 rounds hit there.
All right, let's open her up.
Made it through all 3 legal pads, got into the book, but didn't come out of it.
The books alone were enough to stop the bullet, so we removed the largest book and tried it again. The armor built into the backpack absorbed all the bullets.
The National Institute of Justice certified this backpack to defeat a 9mm round, but not that of an AR-15.